Hey, this is Tim Cummins back with you for another Story Tim, where I tell my favorite stories from my 50 years here on the planet. This one I'm talking a little bit about Savannah ghosts. I don't know if you believe in ghosts, what your take is on that sort of stuff like this, but Savannah is noted by the History Channel and the Travel Channel as America's most haunted city. And so I just want to kind of share a couple of three stories with you about what I actually experienced and friends of mine told me. The first one was during Halloween. I can remember we were, when we would have Halloween and stuff like this, we might ride along with one of the ghost story tours, a place like that would show the different houses in Savannah and talk about the different things that had happened in the city. And one of them was where there was supposed to be this ghost that would be watching from this window that was like in a tower kind of a building. It was kind of like a portico there. And so we would, my partner Jerry Perlman was shooting the video of this stuff. And, we would go to that house and we would go to the next one on the tour and la-di-da. Well, later on that day, we were shooting we were doing the editing before you put the story on the air for the 6 o'clock news. And, we were all editing stuff, and you hear Jerry, and they go, "Man, what the heck is this?" And we're like, What are you talking about, Jerry? So we all kind of scramble in there to see it there. And you're watching this video of this window, and all of a sudden it looks like a glitch in the video, and it keeps going. It was just like that long, So, when you're editing video, you can actually go frame by frame. 1/30th of a second is one frame in video. So he was slowly going back there, and then he got to this one frame where it looked like there was a glitch in the video, and there was this face in the window, this really contorted, almost like they were screaming, like, "Ah!" kind of face, just that long and gone. And we're like, what was that? Even now, what little hair I have left on my head starts to kind of stand on end because it was so bizarre. Because there was no way that could have been faked, or that anybody would have even seen something at 1/30th a second. If we hadn't recorded on videotape, you couldn't even seen it. So anyway, that was one of the weird things that happened to us. Another happened when I was one of my partners, Jim Carswell, who was an anchor for years, and another friend of mine who was shooting the story at the time. His name was Scotty. They were out there shooting a story on Bonaventure Cemetery. They'd had some vandalism in some of the cemeteries around there, and it was another Halloween story, so they were going out there and shooting some stuff with the headstones and things like that, because it's a very historic place. You may remember, if you saw the Garden of Midnight of Good and Evil, where there's actually a scene where they do voodoo down there in Bonaventure Cemetery. Well, anyway, they were going out there and shooting, and they came back, and they were in the newsroom talking about the story and stuff like this. And we said, "Well, is there anything unusual?" Because, we were always interested to see anything weird with this. And they said, "Well, no, not really. We did see this one little girl. She was like running around in there and kind of skipping around. She had this yellow dress on." Well, Mike Manhattan, who was our anchor, said, "Well, what was she dressed in? Did she have a yellow dress on?" And Jim said, "Yeah, how did you know that?" And he said, "Well, did she have kind of blonde hair, kind of curly hair?" And Jim was like, "Yeah, how did you know?" And he says, "Well, that's one of the most famous ghosts in Savannah, man. That was the little girl that had died of their consumption, and has been seen regularly in the place." Man, you could see Carswell and Scotty hadn't heard anything about that. Both those guys kind of just paled when they realized, because that was the thing, according to them, it looked real. It's not like they kind of could see through it and stuff like that. They just thought it was some little girl. It was kind of unusual that they were out there, but that was still kind of bizarre. The third story that I want to tell you had to do with our building. Now, WTOC was one of the historic buildings. They had a colonel, a very famous military colonel that had lived there, and there was this like spiral staircase in the middle of the house like this, that apparently the colonel had been very depressed and had killed himself and had hung himself. He had thrown himself off of the balcony down in there and hung himself right there in the middle of this foyer. Well, the weird thing about it was that our engineers, the station would run 24/7. We'd always have program there at WTOC. And so you would have guys down in what we called master control. And that was the guys that ran the tapes, and you would play you'd have the tapes from the different shows all night long, and they would babysit those tapes and would do the commercials and stuff like that, so that the thing had a 24/7 running period. But I remember talking to one of them, his name was Greg, was downstairs and got kind of freaked out at night to the point of where he started carrying a gun, because he said he would be there regularly and he would hear footsteps going up the stairs, and he would think it was some kind of intruder, and he would run over there and go look around. Nothing there. But it's kind of an old building, and so you could definitely hear the steps and things like that. So it really did kind of freak him out. And so just a few stories from those good old Savannah days, and that was another Story Time.